All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome to Keyboard Warriors. This is episode 78. 78 of these motherfuckers, man. Like, hour plus each one. That's a lot of hours of just dumb shit coming out of our faces. My name is Eddie Law, of course, out of Dayton, Ohio. We got Fred Kirby. Out of California, we got Justin Robacava. Tonight's host, we got our boy from the MMA Takeover. Is that right?
That's right.
That's right, Keys, man. So let the people know. Introduce yourself. It's the first time on the show.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was world famous, but apparently not. I thought I was the biggest name in MMA, but not yet, I guess. Yeah, I'm Keith Schillen. I'm one of the MMA Takeover. I'm the editor, founder of the MMA Takeover. It's a website. We've been around for about a year. We're doing big things. So you can find us at TheMMATakeover.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we're on YouTube. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I don't tweet often. I just started doing it, so bear with me. It's Keith, Keith. My last name, Schillen, Shillan, MMA. That's at whatever. See, I'm still new to the Twitter, so I'm still not getting it. At that.
Yeah. Welcome. You will meet the shitty side of social media very soon, sir. That's the first thing you find on Twitter, and it takes a while. You find some cool people. All right.
Listen, it's shitty, but MMA Twitter is live though. I mean, yeah, MMA Twitter is a pretty active community, so Twitter's definitely a good social media device to fucking promote your MMA shit for sure. Lots of douchebags, but you know, some fucking good guys too.
Well, I get me joining Twitter. There's one more douchebag on there, so
welcome, sir. Welcome. All right. Well, let's talk about what everyone's fucking talking about. This Conor McGregor mess. So if you guys haven't heard, he got into some kind of fight at a bar. Details are flying from everywhere, by the way. My favorite so far is Brendan Schaub, though, because you know Brendan Schaub has to emphasize everything. Like he's just like, yo, they got a hit on this guy for like 90 grand or some shit like that. Fred, your thoughts on this whole mess? I mean, Conor's just like seems like he's spinning out of control. Or maybe he thinks he's bigger than life. What do you think?
Son, let me tell you something, Jack. Just before we went live, I was on, I don't know whether it was Facebook or Twitter, but I seen that one of his side chicks is posting their fucking FaceTime conversations and shit.
What? How do you hear about that?
I mean, it might be a rumor, but it looks like shit is really coming undone for our boy. Look, man, when I first heard about this, I thought probably bullshit, right? Because I mean, I guess the general consensus was if something like this happened, how would it not be all over every news outlet possible? But God damn it, I say this all the time on this podcast, but it's fucking true. Where there is smoke, there is fire, and this cocksucker just keeps smoking. Other websites keep reporting it. It just won't go away, man. Now there's a face that they're attaching to this Irish mob boss. Now listen, I don't know fuck all about the mob. Only thing I know about the mob is what I seen in Goodfellas and The Sopranos, and those were Italians. So I don't know if the Irish mob is like a big deal, if it's fucking legit. I don't really know what to make of this. If it's true, I know Conor's a big star in Ireland, but I can't imagine it's a fucking great idea to have the Irish fucking cartel looking at if they're actually dangerous and powerful. I don't fucking know, man. It ain't good though. I tell you that. It doesn't seem like he's going to fight anytime soon. And at the end of the day, that's all I really care about is when this prick's going to fight. And it doesn't look like we're going to get that. So, yeah, I don't know.
I did not know about the side chick thing. That's pretty nuts. What do you think about this there, Keith?
Yeah, I mean, like Fred said, it's so hard to kind of figure out what is true and what's not. I mean, the first thing that got mentioned was like some girl on Instagram posting like a blurred picture of her and her friend with McGregor, and they said that he punched a kid. Now we come to find out it's someone who's in the mafia's dad. You know, you got MMA Imports was reporting it, so right away that I ran away from that. So I mean, it's just kind of hard. I mean, Dana White is kind of blowing it off. Everyone's blowing it off. I just think it's kind of like Conor's way of avoiding having to defend the belt if he has to go into like into police FBI like what do they do? What do they call it when they like take someone and send them somewhere else?
Witness protection program?
Yeah, they might have to put him like witness protection. I think that's just his way of not defending the belt. But yeah, I mean, it's a crazy thing. I saw someone who said recently like, oh, he can't be doing this stuff. And it's like, Conor's above the sport. As much as we pretend he's not, he is. Because name any fighter in MMA. Name whoever the number 2 most popular person is. If you know who Anderson Silva is, you know who Conor McGregor is. But if you know who Conor McGregor is, that doesn't mean you know who Anderson Silva is. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
My mom knows who Conor McGregor is. My mom was asking about the Floyd Mayweather fight. And this is what you get when you give a guy, $100 million. I mean, think about it. If we had $100 million, I'd probably be getting in bar fights. I'd have side chicks. And hopefully my wife's not listening to this. But I mean, she wouldn't be my wife anymore. I'd give her half of it, and I'd be in casinos with side chicks and doing cocaine and hooking up with. It's like I don't get when these celebrities, when they go crazy and they do this stuff. Why are we surprised? I would be surprised if we didn't hear this.
Conor's how old? What, like 28?
Yeah, I'm 35 and I'd be doing this.
Yeah, exactly. Of course he is, man. What the fuck?
I could go to Vegas for the weekend with $1,000 and come back with an addiction,
$100 million.
Never mind $100 million. Jeez.
Yo, the side chick thing is kind of like it's nutty because it almost seems like, and Jesse, you tell me what you think about this. It's all unraveling all at the same time, right? Now that Conor has fuck you money, he's treating the world just like he said. He's definitely we allowed him and we've given the freedom and basically said, yeah, Conor, you're bigger than the sport. Now this dude gets fuck you money and now he's like bigger than the world. I mean, fucking, it's crazy shit.
Yeah, it is, and you guys are right. I mean, weren't we talking about John Jones when he was the youngest champion ever, and he was starting to do blow and hookers and all this stuff, and we're like, he's a kid, man. He's gonna fix all that problems. He's gonna mature. And where's John Jones at now? Honestly, it takes a certain type of guy to strip down to his underwear and punch another guy in the face for money, right? It's not your normal, rational, well thought guy that's going to go in there and do this for a living. So of course these guys, once they get all this money, it's just you're just going to go crazy. This whole mob hit thing, I don't know how real that is, but the fact that he got into a bar fight with some dude and maybe that dude is connected with somebody, I mean, that is very well in the possibility. And if he's in trouble, I forget who tweeted this out, but you could just imagine, Dana White calling the Fertittas and the Fertittas going over there to Ireland in their private plane and laying down some money and going, hey, leave our boy alone, basically. So I mean, if we're gonna make a good movie out of this in a couple years, hey, why not, right? Let's make this story interesting.
So let's get this right. A fighter got in trouble with the mob. I mean, this is just pretty much Pulp Fiction. The one thing is, it might be true because as soon as this story came out, no one has seen Conor. So I mean, as far as we know, the mob may have already got Conor.
That'd be crazy.
And another thing I remember, we're talking about his age and stuff. I mean, you compare it to NBA players and NFL players or whatever sport, they have a whole organization that's around them, that's guiding them. And, if you're a NBA player, you're traveling with your team 6 months a year. So you have people watching you and guiding you. As a fighter, you're with the organization, 3 weekends or 4 or 5 days a year, in Conor's case. He hasn't, in 2017, he spent a week with Dana flying around with Mayweather. And then obviously the lead up to the fight. And the rest of the year, 50 weeks of the year, he's by himself with a whole shitload of money. I hope this story isn't true, because I don't want to see him to die. Yeah. I still want to see him fight a wrestler with a full camp. That's all I want.
But, I hate to be selfish, but that was the first thing I thought when I heard this story. Why can we not have good things as MMA fans? I hate to make it about me, but god damn it, Conor, fuck. Between you and John Jones, fucking Ronda quit on us. We're fucking hurting over here. Then goddamn Gustafson's got his fucking shoulder surgery. Volkan Ozdemir's beating fucking guys up in bars. For Christ's sakes, somebody throw us a bone.
It's because of UFC 217. You have to get a card like that. You have to sacrifice, to the gods.
Jesse?
Yeah, you're right. No, but Fred, this is a sport we enjoy. These are the type of people that we make stars, and these guys are just, unhinged. I mean, you just mentioned all those stars, those superstars that have that it factor, that personality, something that just propelled them above all these other crazy guys that, do the sport. And then we expect them to not do crazy stuff like do blow or just quit the sport or get in bar fights. Like, yeah, like these guys have that just like, misfiring in the brain or whatever, probably from getting punched in the head or just because they're just plain out crazy,
Yo, no, I don't.
Right? You lose an eye, and you still want to go and fight a young guy in another country, on a week or 2 weeks notice. I mean, which one of us would do that on the drop of a hat, right?
Yeah. Fred?
No, I just got a tweet from somebody, and their fucking Twitter profile says Dublin to wherever the fuck, so maybe they're from Ireland, but it says his father got hit by Conor when trying to break up Conor beating up some other younger guy in the pub, not him.
Oh, so he wasn't aiming for the mob guy?
I get that's what this fucking tweet says from an anonymous character on Twitter, so take that with a grain of salt, guys. But
hey, so much for that precision stuff he's always talking about.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to be precise when you're fucking going on Irish whiskey.
Yeah, fire Ito Portal. Real quick, let's do some comments here on the YouTube. By the way, shout out to UC, Uncle Hank Drinking Buddy, Raiders back, Dan from Oregon, Joey Tremendous hanging out, and John Smith. All right, so Raider says, I didn't believe the Conor shit, but after seeing all these articles, pictures of one with his broad, him acting like a wild animal at Bellator, I'm kind of buying it. I think Conor's on drugs. And Joey goes, Conor's on the nose snow. Look, man, it's quite fucking possible. Look,
100% he's on blow right now. I mean, 100%, dude. No doubt. And listen, not only is he doing coke, but he's probably doing really good coke because he's rich. So he can afford the good shit. So he's probably got a nice little addiction going right now. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny either. I've seen a couple clips of him in the club.
Mm-hmm.
Son, I've done a lot of drinking, and I've been around a lot of cokeheads. There's a difference. That man was high, not drunk. There's a fucking difference.
Yeah, look, man. What up?
Remember, he did hang out with John Jones for a bit. Became champs.
Well, here's the thing. Remember what John Jones said? He goes, I'm a wild motherfucker or something like that. He said to, I think, Rogan, right, on the GRE. He goes, look, man, I'm a wild motherfucker, right?
He said that at the fucking post. Man,
right.
Feeling John Jones till he tested positive for steroids.
Yeah.
I swear to God, that's the most hurt I've ever been in the sport.
Yeah, but I mean, look, McGregor, he's a wild motherfucker. He's shown it before. Fucking, what was it? I forgot what fight he won where he jumped out of the cage and ran.
Dennis Seaver.
Yeah, Dennis Seaver. He beat Dennis Seaver, jumps the cage, gets right in all those face and just screaming in his face. I don't know what the fuck he was screaming. He was screaming. It's a wild motherfucker, man. You give that guy fuck you money, and you're gonna see some crazy shit go down. So I'm not surprised. It's just kind of like, fuck, don't fuck this up, Conor. And it's just, man, Dana White's got to send ninjas over there to fucking get him.
Okay, right.
Bring him back.
So that's the question now. What do we think's gonna fucking happen? When are we okay, first off, is Conor going to get snuffed out by the Irish mob? And if that's not the case, when do we think we're actually going to see Conor fight again? Like, real talk.
You know what? Can I go first here?
Yeah.
I'll say it'll be a lot sooner than we expect. And I bet, and I'm willing to put a lot of money on this because it's been out there. A lot of these cartel people, they like money. They're businessmen. So if you insult them, you do something that pisses them off, if all this is real, they're not going to hurt that guy. They're going to say, hey, we're going to leave you alone, but you got to fight soon, and we're going to take a hefty price from your paycheck. And I think that's what's going to happen moving forward. I really think that nothing else is going to become of this, and we're just going to see him fight a lot more often and probably a lot sooner than we thought.
Yo, Jesse, how many times have you seen The Godfather?
That's not what I'm basing this on. You have to remember, in baseball, I forget what the baseball player is, but his entire check was going to like some mafia that smuggled them out of Cuba or whatever.
Was that Pete Rose?
Yeah.
True life stuff, dude. These guys they see an opportunity, and they know when an opportunity comes around. They're not, just nefarious to be nefarious. They understand an opportunity where they can make money, and they're pretty smart about this stuff, for not getting caught and doing their dealings. they know that this is, you know, a nice little paycheck that they're going to cash soon.
Here's a weird thought and something none of us, I'm pretty sure none of us want to see. And John just brought it up on the YouTube comments. He goes, Pac-Man and a lot less motivated. Do you think we see this fucking fight because of that money? I mean, think about it, the whole money aspect of it.
Pac-Man who? Manny Pacquiao?
Yeah, boxing. Because Conor made that fuck you money in boxing, dude. He ain't gonna make that in the UFC.
No. That's cute and all, but nah, bro. Listen, I think the Floyd and Conor thing was lightning in a bottle. I just don't think you ever see the crossover. I mean, people talk about it, but they'll never make that happen again. I don't think.
Yeah, and I know Keith said he don't want to see Conor McGregor dead. So what do you think happens to this guy?
Well, I think he woke up. I think he woke up this morning with a horse head in his bed. I think that's the first thing that happened. I came on the show. I don't know if Fred told you, but I came on the show to break news. So here's my chance to break news. This is the MMA Takeover exclusive. Conor McGregor is fighting December 30th against Paulie Malignaggi in a jiu-jitsu match.
Come on now.
No, I don't know. You know what? With Conor trying to I know Fred knows that I will take a strong stance on things, but I'm totally gonna bitch out right now because, like, for example, the very first time I ever was on the Loudmouth podcast, in my very first show, me and Kyle were talking about the possibility of McGregor facing Mayweather, and I was like, "Stop it!" And I was just like, "There's no way this could ever happen." It's, I was saying like, there's a better chance of the Browns winning the Super Bowl and stuff like that. So saying that, there's no way for him to fight Manny Pacquiao, I don't know. He might be fighting Anthony Joshua, as far as I know. I still think Conor's going to fight again in the UFC, just because the only thing Conor loves more than money is himself. And being in the spotlight, no matter how much money you've made, people forget about you. I mean, case in point, Ronda Rousey. Everyone's jumping off the Ronda Rousey bandwagon. Everyone coming out of the woodwork saying, "Oh, I know he knew she was not that great." Well, I remember sitting in a Buffalo Wild Wings in Warwick, Rhode Island, when she fought Betchkoyer, and the entire bar was chanting USA. And when she got the knockout, bears were flying. They were, you would have thought the Patriots just won the Super Bowl. Those bears were flying, and people were kissing random strangers, and I think grown men were crying. And 2 years later, she's a bum and everyone hates her. So people forget about them. Guys like Tito Ortiz was a huge star, and Chuck Liddell, and they're all forgotten now. So I think he'll come back. I think he'll fight. I'm still hoping it's going to be Tony Ferguson, or at that point Khabib, or someone. I mean, I'm okay with the Nate Diaz 3 fight. I mean, I want to see him fight anybody, to be honest. Mm-hmm. But do I think it's going to happen? Yeah, I'm going to say it's going to happen, and I'm actually going to go with what the other guy said there. I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later. December 30th. They're going to add him 3 weeks notice.
That'd be fucking nuts to actually do that. It'll be just to get us outside of Ireland watch.
Listen. I do not think he's going to fight that soon. I agree with you guys that I think he's going to fight sooner rather than later. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you why. One of the shows that I hate the most that comes on TV? I don't know if you guys ever seen it.
The Loudmouth MMA podcast.
That's up there pretty high on the list. But even that one's not as bad as this. It's this fucking show about people who have hit the lottery and then they somehow lose all their money. Come to find out, there's a lot of these assholes. And I'll tell you what, they weren't rich, famous, egotistical Irish pricks that are probably just pissing money away every day on polar bear suits and shit. Let me tell you something. 100 million sounds like a lot, but when you're fucking burning it the way Conor is, he's going to be out of money in 3 months. Fucking taxes and everything else. He's fucking knocking up his mistresses. That shit costs a lot of money, Jack. He's fucking smacking officials in Ireland. What Jesse said earlier might have a shred of truth to it. If the guy he hit is actually connected and that's a real thing, yeah. Absolutely, they're not going to kill Conor. Jesse was right about that earlier. If that's real, they're going to extort the fuck out of him if he wants to stay in Ireland and raise his kids there. So Conor might burn through this money a little faster than we think. And I think first quarter next year. By March next year, we see him fight Tony Ferguson and defend that belt.
I'll call it now. UFC 222 in Las Vegas needs fights on it still. It has they just announced Hector Lombard and CB Holloway. I don't even know who's in the UFC still, but they just announced that today. And then the Cats and guys on that card. But yeah, exactly. They need something, right? So it's a Vegas card. Why not? Now here's an interesting one. We were talking about Nate Diaz. Dan from Morgan says, "Pay the Diaz brothers to come back. MMA is lost without them." First of all, I don't think Nick's ever going to come back. Okay. But
listen.
Look, real quick, if Dana White if it's true what Dana White said, which 90% of the time is bullshit, but he's like, we've been offering Nate Diaz fights left and right. You ain't getting that either. Unfortunately, he's been turning fights down.
I was going to say, I love the Diaz brothers, but Christ almighty, I think they're probably getting the bag offered. I don't know how much money they want, but surely WME is not cheap. They know they generate. I don't know what the Diaz's brother. They were going to give Nate a fucking title shot against Tyron Woodley that I almost deserve more, and somehow or another they still couldn't get the deal done. What the fuck, Nate?
Dude, I don't. Who knows? Honestly, honestly, okay. Speaking of fuck you money, okay, because Conor got 100 million. Nate doesn't have fuck you money, but he's got millions. He earned quite a fucking bit of money. Maybe not to the level of Conor McGregor is, but maybe he's like, I could chill now. I could actually have a personal life. I could just chill the fuck out, do my thing.
One of the things that I think the reason that people like the Diaz brothers so much is they're real. And a lot of people claim that shit. They're so real, they're stupid. Nate and Nick don't need millions. They'll set up in Stockton, smoke weed, sell weed, and run triathlons till they die and won't give two shits about nothing. The Diaz brothers are a different breed for real. Look at them. They're for real, not fighting. They offered Nate a title shot and apparently told him to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, and again, this is all coming from like outside sources. Not like Nate's coming out saying this shit, But Keith, Dana White just did a whole hour-long fucking scrum where he was talking about that. I mean, do you buy that they actually? I mean, look, first of all, just to clear it up, every UFC fighter that has a contract has to be offered a fight every 6 months, I believe, because they have to have him fight 3 times a year, right? And that's been known for a while. But do you buy that Dana White's been he's turned on every single fight we offered him? You buy that, or do you think he's just saying that to make the UFC look better?
Yeah. I gotta address something with Nick. This is just a side rant. Anybody who's ever heard me on a podcast and the Diaz brothers give her up, can we stop talking about Nick Diaz? Nick Diaz is one of the most irrelevant fighters ever. His most impressive win was probably Takanori Gomi, where he had a huge size advantage against. He has not beat a guy in his prime ever. Not an A-level fighter in their prime ever. I mean, his most impressive performances are probably losses to Caro Parisian and Diego Sanchez 12 years ago, something like that.
Well, Keith, Paul Daly was a thing. Let's just
not a sick fight.
Hold on. Paul Daly is an A-level fighter. An A-level fighter.
A long time ago. What?
Paul Daly was an A-level fighter.
A while ago. He was not going to do that. Well, in Strikeforce, he was not going to.
I guess we probably have a different. I mean, it's a very vague term because it's obviously
right.
B plus.
When I say A-level fighters, I think of George St. Pierre, Michael Bisping, Jose Aldo, things like that.
All right, that's what we're going for. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't even put him in B. I'd probably put him in C. But anyways, I regress. But to Nate's situation, I really do think he's turning him down, and I'll tell you why I think he'd be turning him down. The big payday is Conor McGregor, obviously. And he's lined up to get that third fight. He's got one win. He's got one loss. He's got to set up in that third fight. But if he loses fights before Conor comes back, he's got to stop pushing himself back in line. You know what I mean? He's going to let Ferguson skip him and Khabib and other guys if he starts going on a losing streak, even if he's going up. Because as much as we say, hey, well, he went up and he fought Tyron Woodley, we know that because obviously we're on podcasts and anybody who listens to this are hardcore fans. If you listen to a MMA podcast, you're a hardcore fan. But to my friend who comes out to the bar with me and he watches 3 UFCs a year, he doesn't know that Tyron Woodley's a weight class above, and he doesn't care that Tyron Woodley's a weight class above. So, I mean, I don't know what the money numbers were that they were offering Nick, but it's probably what most top guys get, about $500,000. If he got a chance to get $2 million, $3 million, $4 million, $5 million to fight Conor, why would you take a chance to lose that opportunity when Conor probably only going to fight 1 or 2 more times anyways? Why would you take a chance of losing a $3 million payday to get $500,000, in a fight that you're probably not going to win anyways?
Anyway, that's it's a good point.
Damn, Keith, I'll be a son of a bitch.
What?
Like a fucking lawyer, Jack.
Yeah.
I kind of see your point now.
Yeah, I see his point. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I also
what up?
see Keith's, but Keith also mentioned something earlier, and I'm gonna bring it up right up against you, Keith. You yourself said that if you get away from the sport long enough, you become irrelevant. And that's the danger that Nate Diaz is facing right now. He has to fight. Even if it's a gimme fight for $20, something that we know he's going to win. It doesn't matter. We need to see him again fight. Because if he stays out till middle of next year and Conor has already fought, I think at that point, I don't think it's going to be relative. Even it's not even going to make sense to make that fight for Conor's, quote unquote, maybe last fight or whatever. I think they're going to want to blow it out big and make something big for Conor. And I think Nate's going to lose out on that sweepstakes.
Yeah, look, it's possible.
Well, Nate Diaz has a net worth of $2 million, so he doesn't really need it. And unlike Conor, I don't think he's, he bought a pony. I don't think he, has his own private jet, stuff like that. I don't think he's dropping $100,000, at the blackjack table, stuff like that. But no, I know. I mean, that's definitely a good point with Jesse Smith being irrelevant. But some reason the Diaz brothers, I don't know what it is. They like this fairy tale that casual fans, and even hardcore fans, they always like. They're so much more accomplished in fans' eyes than they actually have accomplished in MMA, especially Nick. But I'm not going to get into that again. But I get what you're saying. But to my point is this is his lottery ticket, and do you lose the opportunity? Now, obviously, Jesse makes a good point. If he fights Tyron Woodley and actually pulls off the upset, then forget it. Now there's not even a debate anymore. He skips Tony Ferguson. He skips Khabib. Obviously, you could fight. You could fight. McGregor at 170 for the belt. I mean, there's all kinds of things you could have. It'd be an even bigger trilogy because you got champion versus champion. To me, I really would be surprised if Nate came back for any other fight other than Conor or maybe a George St. Pierre fight.
I'd have to agree with that. I don't think he comes back for anything but one of those two. But I think the Conor fight's the only one he wants, and just depends on what the UFC thinks people want to see. But
can I just say on a side note quickly, I'm pretty glad that Dana White called out GSP. I know a lot of people got their panties in a ruffle over that.
Go right into that because that's what I was going to go with next.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, because he's pissed.
Go ahead.
He goes, all right. So if you guys, they had the whole scrum. It's online. I forgot who fucking posted. I apologize. I don't remember who put it up on YouTube. But they had this long ass hour-long media scrum lunch thing. Not even lunch, just media scrum. And someone asked him, "What do you think is gonna happen with GSP? Like if GSP drops the belt and moves to 170 or goes somewhere, retires, whatever, what's gonna happen?" He goes, "I'd be pretty pissed." Now he did point out the fact that in his contract for the Bisping fight, which by the way Dana White pointed out that GSP took it as a tune-up fight, which is incredible to me. But regardless, in the contract it says you have to defend the belt. So Fred, it was funny as shit that he got all pissed about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just glad he's calling him out. I mean, look, man, George is a beast. He did some impressive shit. He came back after a long time. I still think he's on steroids. I don't care what nobody says. I've never seen him that aggressive in his whole fucking career. He comes back and all of a sudden he's Jean-Claude Van Damme from Double Impact, the evil one, the fucking slick back hair. He's fucking throwing spinning fucking roundhouse back kicks and shit. Get the fuck out of here. But don't drop the belt, man. What the fuck? It's in your contract. I'm one of those type of pricks that thought that meant something. It's like going into the fight, they were like, okay, well, what's he going to do afterwards? I was always like, he's going to fight Robert Whittaker, right? It's in the contract. Afterwards, now everybody said, contract's contract. That's no big deal. Like, well, what do we even sign these things for if they can just opt out of them whenever they want? I mean, he should have to fucking defend the belt against Whittaker. What the fuck? Thank you, D-Dub. And listen, side note, when's the last time we seen Dana White do one of these? I, for one, fucking love it. I'm glad that we get to hear a little more Dana White. I'm not one of those people that hated him coming out and contradicting himself and shit-talking fighters. I fucking love it.
Yeah. And what up, Jesse?
I was going to say, when the last time was when Rousey fought. Remember, because he came out and said, oh, Rousey's not going to do any interviews, so I'm going to take the bullet, quote unquote, for everybody. But go ahead, Ed. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, because on the YouTube comments, John Smith says, defend it with Woodley. That's defending. So he's talking like champion versus champion. Woodley comes up to 185 to fight GSP, I guess, or maybe champion for champion. I don't know.
Let me ask you guys something though. When was the last time GSP did something or said something and then backed out of it, where he didn't go with what he said he was going to do? I honestly can't think of a single time where he didn't, keep his word to what he said. And he said that he would honor his contract. So I don't know.
He got abducted by aliens at one time.
Yeah. That. If you guys don't know what he's talking about, just look up Joe Rogan GSP on YouTube and have some fun. Go ahead.
And he also didn't he incriminate Rashad Evans or somebody like that was in the car with him too?
Say what?
For that one?
Oh,
I think he said somebody else. He threw somebody else under the bus that he was training with. He was like, yeah, he was there too.
Yeah.
Anyway. Rashad knows.
Yeah, Rashad was like, I'm gonna take my ass to Florida, you crazy motherfucker. Like, don't tell people I got fucking taken too. But I don't even know about that, man. But Keith, your thoughts there on what do you think GSP will do? Look, you can contracts.
Well,
what they say, contracts are meant to be broken. They're also meant to be renegotiated, as John Smith just pointed out on the comments.
Yeah. So to me, there's really an out. I don't think George St. Pierre wants Robert Whittaker.
Hell no.
I definitely don't think he's going to travel to Australia, fight Robert Whittaker in his hometown in March, which is already not that long of a. I mean, it's a pretty short turnaround. It's only 4 months. St. Pierre has gone on record before saying he's one of these guys who likes the longer camp, not the 8-week camp, the 12-week or 20-week camp. Not that I really think that's an issue, but there is an out for the UFC. What I would do is offer St. Pierre to fight Tyron Woodley at 170 to try to get 2 belts at the same time. And if he loses, then he can always defend the middleweight belt against Robert Whittaker. Because as much as we try to pretend that this is, that rankings matter, and we try to pretend that, number one guy should get the title shot in a perfect world, that'd be great. But stars drive the sport, and there's only a handful of stars. And right now, the UFC has a major star problem. You got the Diaz brothers who don't want to fight anybody. You got Conor McGregor, who's about to get killed by the mafia. Ronda Rousey's, retired. Brock Lesnar's in WWF doing the same thing. And I know Rousey's not officially retired, but I mean, I think we all probably agree that she's probably going to WWF. John Jones is likely going to be suspended. I mean, Bisping is a fairly star, but he's up there in age, looking like he's done. Daniel Cormier is, next level down star who's up there in age. So really the big star right now, the big pay-per-view draw who's actually active fighting is George St. Pierre, which is really ironic when you think a guy that we haven't seen fight in 4 years and he was, even in his prime, this is a guy that spent major times with injuries, which is pretty ironic. So if I'm Dana White, I'm kissing George St. Pierre's ass. I'm giving him what he wants.
But what's he want?
I don't know what he wants.
What the fuck does this guy want? Because I agree with you. I don't think he wants Robert Whittaker, but what the fuck?
Really? Okay, let me ask you guys something though. You really don't think that he'll take that fight against Robert Whittaker if it's offered? Because remember, Robert Whittaker was a 170er at one point. He moved up because he was having trouble making weight. He was a little on the small side for 185ers. He's not a Chris Weidman. He's not a gigantic dude that comes down, to that weight. So I think GSP, we'll see him around like July, somewhere around there, probably International Fight Week against Robert Whittaker. And I think he might get snuffed out. I think in his head he might see it as a winnable fight. Who knows? But I think he'll honor that fight, and I think we'll see that title unification.
Yeah, I just want to jump in. I was saying I don't think he wants it because I don't think it's as big of a money fight. Because you heard him in interviews before. He's talked about he wants money fights that it was never about the belt. It was never about coming back with the belt. It was about fighting a star in Michael Bisping. That's why I actually think like an Anderson Silva fight. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but that would be something that would probably attract him a lot more. Stylistically, I think Robert Whittaker would beat him stylistically. But I would never doubt George St. Pierre because you know how many times I've said over George St. Pierre's career stylistically this tough matchup. I remember Josh Koscheck. Everyone in the world say, "Oh well, St. Pierre's big thing is wrestling. He's not going to be able to out-wrestle national champion Josh Koscheck." And what does he do? He out-wrestles national champion Josh Koscheck, and he did this. He's not supposed to outstrike, or he's not going to be able to submit black belts, and he submitted black belts. He's not going to be able to out-wrestle Matt Hughes, and he out-wrestles Matt Hughes and Sean Shirk and Frank Trigg and all these guys who have, better credentials in wrestling than him. So I would never ever count out George St. Pierre, who arguably is the greatest fighter of all time. I mean, he's got as strong of an argument as anybody does. So yeah, I just want to clarify that I was saying more of I don't think he'd want to in a Robert Whittaker doesn't sell fights as much as it, and then imagine the marketing nightmare for them being the two nicest guys who probably ever fought. Just the press conference, them just complimenting each other, like, hey, George, say something mean about Robert. He's not good at trash talking. Like, I interviewed Robert Whittaker, and I was trying to get him to try. I tried everything possible to get him to trash talk, and he was slipping everything I threw at him. I was Chakra.
You're right. You're right, and I think we've had these nice guys fighting each other before. Respectful guys. They don't talk anything. But I also think that, like you guys were saying before, like Fred was saying, we have no stars at this point. The only draw we have right now is GSP. All right, and I'm pretty sure that I know it's sad to say that, right? That the only star we have is GSP. But I think the money will be there for GSP if he wants it. I think all he has to do is ask for it. Right now, Endeavor is looking to pay back those loans, and they're like, well, okay, so we're gonna pay this guy, $2 million to fight some guy, probably not gonna be a big draw on his side, but we'll just blow up GSP because he just did something incredible, and they'll have a marketing push for that. I think the money is not gonna be an issue here. I think GSP is that only star we have right now, and I think they're gonna try to really cater to him at this point, unless good old Conor McGregor makes a deal with the mob and comes back to fight.
One fight people were talking about doesn't make any sense to me is this Conor McGregor GSP fight. To me, it doesn't make sense. Like, I get what they're trying to do.
Well, yeah, sure as fuck don't make sense. But I mean, listen, Conor McGregor just got done boxing Floyd Mayweather for Christ's sakes. Nothing makes sense. But what the fuck?
And remember, leading up to him coming back, GSP was saying, "Yeah, I could cut down to 155. Yeah, I could make it now."
Yeah. On GSP, real quick, Uncle Hank Drinking Buddy says, Matt Laura is the alien that molested GSP. Too soon, bro. Too soon. It's so good, though. Anyway.
That was good.
Anyway, all right, moving on here. Let's talk about, you brought up Michael Bisping quite a few times now. Michael Bisping getting knocked the fuck out in China by Kelvin Gastelum. Now, here's something that I was saying, like, right after the fight, because we'll talk about the fight in a second, or, Kelvin Gastelum's part of it. But a lot of people were very upset that the UFC let Michael Bisping fight Kelvin Gastelum, right? And of course, hindsight's 2020. Yeah, he got knocked out. Probably shouldn't have let him fight. And Kelvin Gastelum said this, and I thought it was a great question. He says, "What if Michael Bisping had won? What would people be saying then?" You know what I mean? Like, what do you think there, Keith?
Yeah, the UFC are in a situation that they're damned if they do, damned if they don't.
Yeah.
If he gets knocked out like he did, which a lot of people predicted, it's, oh my God, how do you let a guy who just was unconscious 3 weeks earlier come around, especially at 38 years old, flying? He was in New York City, and 3 weeks later he's got to fly to China, and he's still concussed. He was hurt, he was dropped. It wasn't just like Damian Maia took him down and submitted him. It was, he was dropped before that. He got landed a lot of elbows. So that's definitely the argument. But imagine, like you said, if Michael Bisping win, it's like, oh my God, what a warrior, what a comeback, unbelievable comeback story. Put himself right in line for a rematch, and he'd probably be the leading candidate to get a shot at George St. Pierre. But the thing that really is ironic is that this fight in China was 1 week after the Carter in Australia, where the UFC replaced Mark Hunt because of safety issues.
Yep.
And a guy that was having a full camp and well rested, and a guy who was coming off a win, not coming off a loss, and then 3 weeks later is Michael Bisping. Like, they just like gloss over that, like no one would notice. I thought that was pretty funny.
Also a guy who was suing the fucking company. So
yeah.
But as soon as the Michael Bisping got knocked out, people started saying, "Oh, that was awful." I'm like, Mark Hunt. I'm just saying, who the fucking know, whatever. Anyway, but Kelvin Gastelum, dude, knocking out Michael Bisping, everyone was talking about him and Robert Whittaker. He even said it himself. He called out Robert Whittaker. Kelvin Gastelum's a very undersized, in my opinion, 185. When you compare him to Chris Weidman and Luke Rockhold, guys like that. He's not so much against Robert Whittaker, right, Fred?
I mean, no, he wouldn't be terribly undersized in that match, but how Kelvin gonna still look fat at 85?
Hey,
Like,
look, man,
he looks
How did he almost
flabby, like look,
huh?
better question. How did he almost miss?
bruh, right,
Yeah.
bro. Kelvin can make 70. I hate to be that guy talking shit, but a literal keyboard warrior. But god damn it, I gotta believe that if Kelvin Gastelum showed just a little restraint on the tacos, I mean, he comes out and says it that he has a problem, which I mean I understand, but he needs to be at 70. Because listen, maybe he could fight Robert Whitaker. And quite frankly, Robert Whitaker keeps surprising me because I've been waiting for him to get thunderstruck and sit back down to 70. Quite frankly, he just keeps fucking around and winning these fights. You know what I'm saying? I think he's undersized. I feel like at some point, the other foot is going to drop for all of these guys at 85 that just quite ain't that big. I think Luke Rockhold got, you know, overzealous against Michael Bisping, man. I think the Weidmans and the Rockholds and the big guys at 85 are going to eventually take that division back, man. I don't think that it's going to stay where it's at. So, you know, it is what it is, man.
Yeah, Keith.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take this sip of soda before I start talking about Kelvin Gastelum having no discipline. So, yeah, I mean, I agree. I would much rather see him at 170. And it's more of the, as we talked about Woodley, you know, the reason why the UFC has to reach out to a Nate Diaz is because Woodley's already beaten Dame Maia. He's already beaten Stephen Thompson. He's already beaten Robbie Lawler. I mean, the only guy that's even in the situation right now to get a title shot, it is, as much as everyone wants to hate it, is Colby Covington. He's the guy. But if Kelvin Gastelum was at 170 and he was on like 2 or 3 fight win streak, not only would he be a top contender, but he actually would be a legit threat. And I know they've already fought, but you know, he'd be a legit threat. But at 180, I don't like how he carries himself. Obviously, he has some serious power. He showed that against Bisping. He obviously showed it against Weidman when he dropped Weidman. I mean, it's, you know, there's a jam, you know, with guys. But comparing Gastelum and Whitaker, if you just look at the way they carry themselves, Whitaker bulked up. He's got a lot of. I mean, he's ripped. He's shredded. He moves quickly. While Gastelum is flat-footed. He carries his weight. He just seems like a guy who's fighting at middleweight because he was lazy. And obviously he's not lazy. I know he's in the gym, but he's not disciplined with his diet. I was listening to an interview with him just the other day. It was Ariel Helwani, and he was talking about how he came into China only 13 pounds over, and he's like, "Oh, that's not a lot." He's like, getting those off. It's the last couple pounds that are really hard. And it's like, well, how about don't show up 13 pounds over, show up 10 pounds over?
Yeah.
You know, then it'd be 3 less pounds to, you know, instead of walking around at, you know, 200 pounds, try to walk around at 195 pounds, and you probably have less trouble.
Look, man, food is too good for some guys. What can I say? But yeah, Jesse, with Gastelum here, let's say they give him Robert Whitaker, or they say you start hearing rumors about that. You down with that fight?
Yeah, why not? Like you guys are saying, I don't think that's a mismatch per se. I think that Weidman fight was definitely a mismatch, just because of the size difference, and it showed once Weidman got on top. You know, he really couldn't buck him off. He couldn't really do much. He just got, you know, pounded on. But I don't know if any of you guys have actually met Kelvin, but he's a thick dude. Like you would think he's a lot more flabby, but he's not. He's actually like he's like a tank. He's like a little tank. You know, it's just like he's like really a thick dude. So I think he just needs to lean out a lot more. I mean, it looks like he carries a lot of fat, but I think he just needs to lean out a lot of that muscle and really get down to 170. But it's just so tough, man. Like, I don't know if you guys listen to Alan Joban's podcast with Karen Bryant, but they have a segment with Kenny Johnson, the wrestling coach, and he had a little rant saying, you know, people that can't make weight, you know, he was telling them to use some duct tape across their mouth so they wouldn't put food in their mouth. And that's what it comes down to, man. I mean, it's like you guys are saying, it's discipline. You know, it sucks to not eat something, or, you know, just, you know, like Eddie would tell you guys, you know, cutting down to do a tournament or something, you know, just to get in shape for it. All that sucks, man. It sucks. It's not fun, but it's what you do. It's your job, right? You're getting paid to do that job. So just do it.
Yeah, I I gotta say, Jesus, I feel like you're making excuses for your Mexican brethren. Did you just call that motherfucker thick? Did you just
Not,
man, his belly was flabby.
bruh, with a
My
C,
ass.
with a CK, not with a CC. Chill out.
That's what parents say about their fat kid. Oh, he's just thick.
He's just thick.
You
He'll straight out.
those
He's
fucking
thick.
fat broads I meet to say they're big boned.
Big bone. Yeah, big bone. Yeah, because
Oh shit.
because I've seen a bunch of fat skeletons before. Big
Yeah.
A lot of them. Yeah, right. All right, moving on real quick. Real quick. I hadn't seen so now because I just got home, but apparently Ozdemir and DC is official for UFC 220. So
Yes.
Ozdemir beats the shit out of somebody, gets arrested months later for it, and gets a title shot. Keith, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, I love the matchup.
Fuck yeah, it's a good fight.
Yeah, I'm you hear these stories about assaulting, this girl's boobs are grabbed or ass is grabbed. Obviously, as a man, we're all going to defend our girlfriend. But you're a professional fighter, and obviously you're not these guys are superhuman beings. As much as we sit there, we talk, we joke about Kelvin Gastelum being flabby. There's not one athletic event that I could beat him in. These guys are superhuman. Kelvin got. I heard Tommy Toho talk about these guys that if they walk into a supermarket, they're the baddest dude in there. They're superhuman compared to everybody else. So, he's got to realize that. I like the stylistic matchup. I don't know if it'll sell because they've been talking about putting a second title fight. I've been hearing, they're hoping that it'd be Cain Velasquez and Stipe Miocic. I think that'd be pretty cool to have Cain and Daniel Cormier in the same card. I also think it would be pretty cool because, a healthy Cain Velasquez is as good heavyweight as I've ever seen. I've said this many times. I think he's the most, and I know I'll probably get killed for saying this, but, I'm not saying you rank him number one because I obviously accomplished everything, but just straight talent. I've never seen a heavyweight as talented as Cain Velasquez. And I think a prime Cain Velasquez beats any heavyweight of all time. And it's a real shame when you think, in every sport you talk about a guy like Gale Sayers or a guy like Grant Hill, these guys who've lost huge, primes, and you wonder what they could be. That's Cain Velasquez, that guy in MMA for me that I'm always like, what could this be? Could this a guy that could be in the all-time pound-for-pound talks? It's so tough, especially if he comes back. His first fight back after a while would be Stipe Miocic. I know that's not really answering your question about DC Ozdemir. To me, I still have so many questions about Ozdemir because we haven't seen him fight. He just goes in, knocks guys out, and there's been guys like that before, like a Houston Alexander and what about remember Terry Sukuju, Terry Sukuju, when he went into Pride, he knocked out Little Nog and knocked out Ricardo Arona, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, who's this guy? This African guy who's knocking everyone out." And then all of a sudden, he went against Leonardo Machida and he got picked apart, and then slowly the game plan got out of him, and it was just like this guy who just landed a couple punches. I don't think that's what we have with Ozdemir. I think he's a legit talent, based on his striking background. But if you want a prediction, I like DC in that fight.
I do too.
But Father Time is clicking on DC. There's only so more shots he can take. They catch Father Time catch up to everybody except for Tom Brady. That's it.
Yeah, Tom Brady's because Tom Brady's like friends with aliens and shit. This motherfucker, I don't know how he does that.
He's friends with St. Pierre. Him and St. Pierre.
Exactly. Every fucking year, dude. Every year, I'm like, this is the year. This is the year Brady's done. And then Bill Belichick's like, yeah, bye Garoppolo. This guy's got 10 more years to go. Fuck.
Yeah. Well,
anyway, no, I'm just kidding.
Us in New England. That's our Lord and Savior. So
there you go. But yeah. Anyway, Fred, this matchup is the one we've been waiting for. Everyone wanted it. Everyone thought it was fuck because he got arrested. Dana White don't give a shit. Made it anyway.
Listen, not to fucking take any respect away from this, but you know what this makes me think about immediately? See you in March, Conor. I mean,
True.
This is essentially the same exact charge. If they just got fucking Ozdemir out of it, Conor's golden grams. So the UFC clearly shows that a UFC fighter can get away with beating up a man in a bar and we'll still get you to the fight. Don't kill him and we'll get you there. So Conor will be fighting. Ozdemir will be fighting. Thank fucking God, because our only backup was Gustafsson, who then informs the world that he's had shoulder surgery. So we were about to be fucked with DC. I'm with Keith on this one. Oh shit! Look at There we go. Decline, goddammit. Always somebody with the calling.
Fred, when you're talking about that Ozdemir is getting the shot no matter what, get arrested, I just feel like I see John Jones like head just peeking out of the corner, like wait, Ozdemir got off? Like, wait, what about me?
Yeah. John Jones has fucked up way too many times. Plus, he fucking cheated. I wasn't holding none of the whores or the coke or none of that against him. Fuck it. But the fucking steroids, that's when I call it quits. But listen, man, all bullshit aside, thankfully they did get Ozdemir for this fight, man. DC needed fucking somebody, needed a dance partner. I'm with Keith on this, though, as far as, I mean, what do we expect from Ozdemir? He's through like 9 punches. He knocks folks out. That's literally all we know. All I can say that if he happens to do that to DC, then we got something to really get excited about. So I don't think he does. I assume DC wins that fight. But if he happens to starch DC, then, you know, fuck, we might even have us a star in the making. I mean, we might have something to really get excited about because he'll be a special talent at that point for sure.
Yeah, and going off what Keith said right now, but hey, John Jones speaking around the corner like, hey, what the fuck, you know, what's going on? Jesse, is this the UFC sending a message saying, hey, look, you can fuck up, you can get arrested and shit, you can still get a title shot with us?
Yeah, I think so. I think, like Fred said, I think this is sending out a message to anybody. As long as you don't do something that's going to put you in jail immediately, we're probably going to book you for a fight, you know, especially if we need you. So, yeah, so I guess everybody that's a fighter out there, go punch people in bars and stuff. And as long as you don't get arrested and you're a name, you'll be fine, right?
Don't kill nobody. You're in.
Yeah, they also, the thing about it is if he was on a 3-fight losing streak, they would have got rid of him. But being the situation you're in, yeah, then they need guys. So it's always been that way, the UFC. If they need a guy, I mean, BJ Penn was accused of raping a girl.
Yeah,
you know, and they weren't getting rid of her. You know, BJ Penn beat up a cop. People forget about how bad BJ Penn was back in the day. You know, BJ Penn beat up a cop. You know, and you know, he was a great talent. They're not getting rid of him. But you know, if that was you know, a mid-level guy beating up his girlfriend, he's gone. You know, so I mean, look at Anthony Johnson. Anthony Johnson is one of the biggest scumbags on the face of the earth. I mean, his own kids have restraining orders against him. I mean, it's really bad stuff. But yeah, obviously he's an elite talent, so they would try to keep him around. But the funny thing is, I just keep thinking about this light heavyweight division. This has been the glamour division since Frank Shamrock, and now we're in a situation where, you know, who's after Ozdemir, Ovince St. Preux, you know, Jimmy Manuwa, freaking Corey Anderson. I mean, sit down. You just beat Corey Anderson, but Corey Anderson, come on.
Yeah, no, it's I'm waiting that shit real quick. Fuck, sorry, I got text down doing this shit. All right, so anything else we want to talk about before we do like a little mini preview of 218? Nothing?
No, if you want to tell people about the giveaway that are in the chat right now,
go for it. You know more than I do.
Oh, so on Friday, our guest from a couple weeks ago, Brenda Enriquez, is going to be fighting against Vanessa Rico over in San Antonio for Combates 19. And she's been nice enough to give us her signed gloves from the fight. So everybody that's in the chat is automatically basically entered. So we're just going to make a list of everybody there. We're going to do a giveaway, and she's going to be on the show next week to announce who won those signed gloves. So, yeah, good luck to everybody in the chat.
Yeah, and if you guys have been talking in the chat, I already got your names down. So you guys are all in. Anyone that's in the chat right now, you guys are in this shit. All right, let's talk about UFC 218. It's this Saturday night. Well, I don't know if you guys want to talk about the one before that. I forgot there's 2 cards this weekend. Friday night, live on FS1, the Ultimate Fighter finale. You guys know, I don't know if anyone really watched it. I didn't really watch very much of it, but it was coached by Eddie Alvarez and Justin Gaethje, who are fighting on Saturday. But obviously, like, the main event is to TBD. I think tonight's the night we find out who fights, who's going to be the main event or whatever on that card. But
is it for the flyweight women's belt too?
I don't know. Is it for the belt?
What?
Yep.
Why do I not care about this at all, man?
Exactly. I just haven't, because I haven't watched any of it other than when Rachel Ostovich fights. So I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
Hey, with it.
Listen, you missed out. Hey, you missed out because there's actually some other very attractive females.
100%.
Emily Whitmire.
What'd you say?
follow. No, I was asking Keith, did you follow this season
Yeah.
well enough to know what the finale might look like? Because
Yeah, I actually know who's in the finale. I know both fighters.
Really?
Yeah. I won't tell you, but the one who everyone knows is in is who was a 14 seed, Nico Montana, and she will face. It's going to be either the number 1 seed Roxanne Modafferi or the number 12 seed Sajara Banks, and I'll just leave it. But yeah, none of the Nico Montano's not that bad of looking girl, but
look, man, just to me, Rachel Ostovich is like the full,
Rachel
like,
is
everything.
Yeah.
Everything. She's got everything.
Booty.
Like I said, son, she's fine. Anyway,
yeah, she's fine.
so, look, no disrespect. No disrespect. She knows this, all right? No disrespect. I said it to her in a very respectful way, and she didn't block me, so I take it as she took it as a compliment.
Well,
Anyway,
she paid a little bit of money to be fine, so I mean,
a little bit.
She's in that Pearl Gonzalez category now.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
She's not fighting in New York anytime soon.
Yeah. So just on that card real quick, just go through some names. Eric Spicer taking on Gerald. I can't say his last name. Thank you. Sean O'Malley taking on Tyrion Ware. Joe Soto taking on Brett Johns. Joe Soto's been gone for a minute. And Andrew Sanchez against Ryan James. That's a 5-fight card.
Well, that's because they had
so far.
It's because they're waiting for the results, and they're going to have the entire. There's a couple of other fights that have been announced. That Deanna Bennett is fighting another girl on the show. I can't remember who. I think Ariel Beck, and Rachel Ostovich fighting on the card, and she's facing someone else on the card. I mean, there'll be more fights announced.
Okay.
And you can see it all on themMMAtakeover.com.
There you go. Go ahead over there and check it out. All right. Then on Saturday, UFC 218, Holloway versus Aldo 2. For the early prelims on Fight Pass, kicking off at 6:15 p.m. Eastern Time, 3:15 p.m. Pacific Time. On the Fight Pass card, Justin Wills is a big dude. I forgot how big that guy was. Like big, not like big. He's like round. But
like Kelvin Gastelum big?
Like Kelvin Gastelum, if he had a real fucked up weekend bender of burritos. That's how bad that would fucking be. Like, bruh. But he's taking on Alan Crowder. Then Jeremy Kimball against Dominic Reyes. Sabah Omasi against Abdul Razak Al Hassan. And in the main early prelim, we got Amanda Bobby Cooper against Angela Magana, who I didn't know was still in the UFC, but okay. All right, FS1 prelims are 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Felice Herrig against Courtney Casey. That's interesting, at least. David Timur against Jakar Close. Then here's a good one. Right,
that's going to be fun, though. That fucking David Timur character is a fucking beast of a striker.
Yep.
Beast.
Yo, don't get kidnapped there, Jesse. I just heard a fucking truck. Then we got, I think this is a fun fight right here. Alex Oliveira against Yancy Medeiros. Yancy comes to just goes to war every fucking time he fights. But Alex Oliveira misses weight quite often, doesn't he? Am I thinking about the right Oliveira?
Yep.
Motherfucker, make weight, please.
Well, both Oliveiras on the card miss.
And both miss weight. That's right. You know what? Good point. I forgot. Because the main fucking prelim on FS1, Charles Oliveira against Paul Felder. Goddamn, that's just, dude. Friday's gonna feed like anyone that say that because I'm a nerd. I literally watch the fucking real weigh-ins on YouTube as they happen. I'm gonna be sitting there going, motherfucker, come on. Like, grab the fucking towel. Grab a towel.
Yo,
asshole.
While we're talking about that, can we please get somebody else to narrate these things other than Ariel Helwani with his stupid golf voice?
Oh, dude, what the fucking everyone else does it fucking stream. Junkie does it with John Morgan.
Damn, I can't find the aerials with him whispering.
The great thing about John Morgan forgets that he's filming and he's like talking to random people having conversations where you want to get lunch later, and like he forget that the camera's right next to him. I'm waiting for him to say something that he's not supposed to.
Yeah, exactly right.
And then as soon as that happens, I'm going to apply for his job with MMA Junkie.
Dude,
I got the application filled out. I'm ready to hit send.
Just hit send. There you go. No, the Hawaiian thing is just weird. It sounds like you're listening to a little kid watch like porn on the Fuzzy channel back in the day.
No.
Weird.
It's more like one of those snuff videos where he's filming somebody and he's like talking violence over it.
Oh, dude.
Christ, guys.
Anyway, we took it far. Anyway, FS1 prelims are at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time. That Oliveira Felder fight is going to be the main. That's going to be. It should be a sick fight. Should Charles fucking make weight? All right. In the main card, 10 p.m. Pacific time or Eastern time, 7 p.m. Pacific time. First fight of the main card, Tisha Torres against Michelle Waterson. A lot of people going with Torres on this one. I'm a Michelle Waterson fan, so of course I'm going to pick with my heart, not my head. But this is a tough fight for Waterson against a really tough wrestler and grinder in Torres. Keith, your prediction?
I'm gonna take Tisha Torres. I actually her fight against Rose Namajunas, I actually thought she won that fight, the rematch. And the thing about her, she does those like side karate kicks, but she pushes with them a lot, and she doesn't use her wrestling enough. I'm hoping she does against Waterson. But yeah, I think she could win anywhere, and definitely the wrestling is in her back pocket. So I'm gonna take. And Michelle Waterson, I mean, even though Tisha Torres is very small, Michelle Waterson is really an animal. So I'm gonna take I'll take Tisha Torres.
All right, Jesse, your prediction?
Yeah, I agree with Keith. I've always thought that Michelle Waterson is a little too small for the division that we have for her here, and I think we're just wasting her talents, of her getting beat up and all that stuff. But you can never count out any fighter. But I really think Tisha Torres, she's happy now. She's in a stable relationship. She seems to be excited to fight. So, as Fred says, if you're happy at home, you have good fights, right?
That's a good point, Fred.
Point. That good point being made. I don't know. I've never been that impressed with Tisha Torres. The tiny tornado.
Yeah.
I always call her the small burst of wind. I've never really been all that impressed with her, man.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm going with the karate hottie. I think she's going to thunder strike her. I think if Tisha Torres can't get her to the ground, she's going to be in a world of trouble. So just going to bank on that. Although I fucking suck at picking fights. So if you're betting money, just go against whatever the fuck I say tonight.
Yeah, and guys in the YouTube comments, I'm watching you guys. So give me your picks too, and we'll see what the consensus is on that one. All right. After them, heading over to the octagon. Dude, this fight is fucking sick. And again, I'm gonna have to watch it on replay. So I'm not even gonna bother avoiding Twitter. I just want to watch the fight. I know it's gonna be fire. The Underground King, Eddie Alvarez against Justin Gaethje. Fucking goddamn, this fight is gonna be fucking crazy. Let's start with Fred here.
Listen, son. One thing I hate to do, I mean, listen, you can make predictions all day long, and there's just no way to actually predict fights. The only thing you can really do is kind of try to predict whether a fight's going to be fun or not. And even that is really hard. Sometimes it seems like a fight's going to be great, and bigger and shit, it's a dud. Every once in a while, you get one that you can guarantee. God damn it, by God, I guarantee you this fight is going to be fireworks. The only thing that I could see maybe happening is Eddie Alvarez getting clipped and trying to take Gaethje down. But I don't think he's going to be able to do that in that type scenario. I think he ends up getting finished. So, if I'm forced to make a fucking prediction, if I was smart, I would say Eddie Alvarez because he's got the experience. He can win in a lot of different ways. But I'm a dumb fuck. I like riding hype trains. Justin Gaethje's full of piss and vinegar. He's undefeated. He's going to come out balls to the wall. So I'm riding that train all the way to a first round TKO finish, Jack. Justin Gaethje.
All right. Remember, Justin Gaethje can wrestle his ass off. Don't fucking overlook that part of his game for sure. He just chooses to fucking swing like a maniac. All right, Jesse, your pick.
Yeah, I agree with Fred. I mean, you can literally guarantee that this fight's going to be violence just because of Justin Gaethje. Gaethje's the type of guy, and he said it, he wants to be known as the most violent MFer in the sport ever. So he's on his way to proving it with his last fight against Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson said, I'm not going to get drawn into that type of fight. I'm going to be smart.
Yeah.
And then it was a fist fight the whole way until he got TKO'd. So I think the same thing's going to happen here, man. I think Eddie Alvarez might try to be smart, might try to wrestle, might try to play the distance game. But Eddie Alvarez, once he gets cracked, he just reverts back to being, a street fighter, just winging those punches, and that's what we're going to get. That's what makes this fight so exciting. The only thing that sucks is I think that Eddie Alvarez's chin has been touched up a little bit too much, and I think that might be the reason that this fight ends a little early, but I'm going to say second round TKO, Justin Gaethje.
Damn. All right, Keith.
Yeah, I'm actually going to disagree with both what they said in the fact that they said that I think this fight's going to be a letdown, and the reason why I think it's going to be a letdown is because everybody, and I think all four of us probably said, expect this to be fight of the year, and anything short of fight of the year is going to feel like a letdown.
That's a good point.
So I'm hoping it's fight of the year, and I wouldn't be surprised if it is. It would be really tough to top Gaethje versus Johnson. I have flip flopped on this fight because I could see. I mean, yeah. You got two guys going to be winging shots at each other. I think Eddie Alvarez has a lot more better technical striker, but Gaethje just steps through punches to land his own. He's one of these guys who's willing to take one to give one. And how can you not like them? And I think both guys are very likable, and they've been through wars. I mean, you saw Gaethje's fight against Johnson. If you go to the fight before that against Luis Firmino, that was a fantastic fight too. His last fight in World Series of fighting. But the one thing that keeps jumping out of me from that fight is I believe he was losing that fight when Firmino got cut and they stopped the fight. I thought Firmino was up 2-1. I thought Gaethje's gas tank was really kind of failing him, and that kind of happens when you throw a million punches in one round, and everything you throw is to like take the guy's soul. But this is just so bad. I have flip flopped so many times. I will take what I'm going to do. I'm going to take Eddie on the show, and then on my official prediction on our website, I'm going to take whoever I didn't say, and then I'll I want to say, see, you guys should have listened to me. I could pick him. So I'll agree with them, and I'll take Gaethje.
All right. Liam. Oh, what up, Liam? On the YouTube comment saying, I'm going with Gaethje since Cerrone's on the way. He's my replacement. All right. I'm gonna take Gaethje as well, just because I pick against him every time, and he fucking screwed me over on that every time.
Y'all realize we just fucked Gaethje.
Yeah. No. I'm putting money on Alvarez, dog. That's
I'm hedging my bets. I'm picking Eddie on the takeover. I'm hedging my bets.
I'm putting money on Alvarez, homie. No, all right. Next fight up is a flyweight fight to find out who gets fed to Demetrius Johnson next one. They don't make the TJ fight. Henry Cejudo taking on Sergio Pettis. To me, I'll go first. To me, this is kind of this is a step up for Sergio. We'll find out if he's real or not, and it won't really matter because DJ's gonna fuck him up too. But regardless, I like Cejudo in this fight. In a grind out decision, won't even be a finish at all. And yeah, a lot of people, what's funny? A lot of people are talking about this fight like it's going to be boring. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be boring, but I'm not buying the Sergio Pettis hype either. Starting here with Jesse, who are you picking?
I agree with you. I think Cejudo has been improving. And in his last fight, he really showed that what his weakness was his striking. And he improved it so much in that last fight. So, like you said, I think there's a big step up for Sergio Pettis, and I think Cejudo is really looking to get another crack at DJ because that first fight just went awfully for him. He really never got a chance to do anything, not even attempt to wrestle or anything. He just got kneed to death. So he definitely wants another crack at DJ. So I think he's gonna come in here and really put a dominant performance. I think it's gonna be a stoppage. I would say TKO in the third round.
There you go, Keith. We can't hear you for some reason.
Sorry, I put it on mute. I don't want to talk.
Sorry.
Sorry, yeah, I put it on mute. I forget. I'm going to take Cejudo. I think he is going to knock out Sergio Pettis. I agree with Jesse said. Cejudo, what's great about him is he's only been fighting MMA for 4 years, and he's like learning on the fly in the highest level. And what he showed in his last, his fight against Joseph Benavidez, to be able to strike with Joseph Benavidez, he's such a good fighter, and then to follow that up with the absolute destruction of Wilson Hayes, I was so impressed with that. And Sergio Pettis was hurt by Brandon Moreno, and everyone remembers rounds 2 through 5 where he took over, but he was hurt, and Moreno left. I thought he let him off the hook, and I don't think Cejudo. I think he punches as hard as anybody in that flyweight division, and yeah, I'm gonna take Cejudo. I think he's gonna win.
All right, Fred.
Listen, I'm going to say some not nice things right now, and that's why we call this show the Keyboard Warriors. But I think the hype behind Sergio Pettis has pretty much been completely unjustified, and just one of those deals where we wrote it because of Anthony. I think Cejudo is going to destroy Sergio. I really just don't think. I don't know, man. I don't think that Sergio Pettis is that great. He's not a bad fighter, but I just don't think he's elite. When Keith was talking earlier about A's, I think Sergio is a C-level fighter. I think his brother had some serious talent at one time, but I just don't think Sergio's that dude. And Cejudo may be that guy. Cejudo's got legit wrestling. If Cejudo could even slightly compete on the feet with Sergio, destroy him, because his wrestling and his grappling is worlds above Sergio's. So if he can just even get him guessing on the feet, I think he can submit Sergio probably rather easily on the ground. We know the Pettis brothers are kind of slick off their back, but we've also seen them get smashed on top and a guy like Cejudo that's got that level wrestling, I could see him taking Sergio down and just beating the fuck out of him and getting a rear naked choke or something. First, second round, easily.
That would be some shit right there. All right. Moving on to the co-main event of the evening. A fight. Honestly, this might be neck and neck from people that I've talked to. Might be like what people are calling the real main event. We might find the next guy to fight Stipe, possibly if it's not Kane at whatever, it's a 220, whatever they're trying to work on. Overeem against Ngannou. Yeah. A lot of people say that differently. So also Overeem against Francis Ngannou. Look, Francis Ngannou is the big prospect in the heavyweight division. Also, Overeem is the legendary guy who used to eat horse meat, stopped doing that shit, and now looks kind of normal and got chinned by a bunch of people, and now fights smart. So there's there's like Dad Bod Vitor and TRT Vitor. There's like a bunch of Overeems now. So that's kind of where we're at here. Fred, who are you picking?
Son. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Alistair Overeem's chin and Francis Ngannou's hands do not mix. I mean, I suppose Overeem can pull some bullshit off, but I just see Francis catching Overeem in the first round and starting him. Just putting him out. I mean, if goddamn it, Travis Brown can do it, surely Francis Ngannou can knock out Overeem at this point in his career. Maybe if it was Ubereem and we was in Japan and this was K1 and this was about 7-8 years ago.
Different.
But right now with these little gloves on, I think Francis Ngannou is an animal. And just by sheer, youth and fucking ferocity, I think he's going to fucking steamroll Overeem. Plus, Overeem be fighting like a bitch now, low key. Everybody, Overeem fights much more smarter my ass. Greg Jackson turned him into a wussy. We need Ubereem that don't stop. Now he's trying to fight like he's Dominic Cruz. Man, he's gonna get thunderstruck by dude. I swear he is.
Shit, Jesse.
I think we're gonna see a repeat of this last weekend where the younger guy took out the veteran. I think even though I don't believe that whole thing about Francis Ngannou is the hardest hitting human being in the entire universe, I do believe that he really, really hits hard. You look at some of the people that he's hit before, they're out cold as soon as his fists touch their face. So, he's no joke. And he's only getting better. I think his coach was on a show that I was listening to earlier this week, or somebody was talking about it, where he's basically the type of guy that's so smart, he catches on to techniques and he's using them as he's learning them. So like within a round, he's already applying techniques that they're teaching him, and he's a sponge basically, and he's absorbing all these techniques and stuff. So I think that might be the problem for Overeem, seeing as how a guy that's as smart as Ngannou and has the speed and the strength. I think it's just, this is what Overeem was back in the day, right? He had the size, the strength, the speed, and I think this is just the next generation of heavyweights. And I think Overeem's going to get, as Fred Kirby says, thunderstruck very quickly. I'd say in the first round.
Damn, no respect for Overeem. Keith, who are you taking?
Yeah, well, I never want to disagree with Fred because every time he talks, he's so convincing. I'm intimidated to go on his show and disagree with him. Yeah, I am so confident in this pick. I feel this is actually one of the easiest fights to pick on the card. I'm taking Ngannou too. I think he's going to knock out Overeem in the first round. I'm looking at Overeem's record, and he's won 6 out of the last 7. So he's kind of fixed that chin problem. but I can't get past that he got knocked out by Ben Rothwell, and it wasn't a big shot. And I expect Overeem to try to out wrestle. I mean, he's done that a lot. He's taking guys down, big strikers, taking them down and try to wrestle them. That's what I expect him to do. What Jesse was saying is Nagano has been learning on the fly. He's only been in MMA for 40 years, and I think it was the Anthony Hamilton fight where he was warming up in the back and like some other coach showed him a move and then he went out and did it against Anthony Hamilton in like 25 seconds or something crazy like that. I don't remember. I think it might have been a Darce or something. He never saw the move before and then he does it like 10 minutes later. I mean, that's incredible. Yeah, I think he's going to land one of those uppercuts and I think he's going to put Overeem out.
Shit, dude. All right, so I'm picking Overeem because I think he's gonna make this a boring ass fight, run the entire time, score a couple of times, and I think he's gonna try and gas out Ngannou. But I'm rooting for Ngannou. I'm not gonna lie. I want to see the next big thing in heavyweight because I think heavyweight's gotten a little stale, little stale. I'm a fan of Stipe. All right, so people that call Stipe boring and full of shit. That guy's fun.
Heavyweight and light heavyweight are still a 6-day-old bread right now.
Yeah.
Both those divisions are hurting.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we get Ngannou Stipe will be a huge fight. I think, and I don't know who I'm picking that fight, but I'm just a big fan of Stipe's like blue collar like story. So anyway,
the UFC needs Ngannou to win.
Yep.
They need that dude.
The same guys, Verdum, Overeem, the same guys challenging for the title is not exciting anybody. I think the heavyweight division is just a top heavy division. You got the 3 or 4 guys off the top that are good. If Cain Velasquez is still the old Cain Velasquez, Verdum, Overeem, so getting the new absolute probably the scariest person on the planet Earth. If he knocks out Overeem, face plants him. I mean, there's a guy that you might be able to build off of, and you have that glamour heavyweight baddest dude on the planet. He fits that bill. Stipe Miocic, as much as he is the baddest dude on the planet, he doesn't fit the nice fireman guy. You get this big African guy with muscles on top of muscles, just touching you and he's knocking you out and he's breaking records by punching things like Ivan Drago and shit. There's a guy you could market.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, no, they definitely need it. But dude, I'll go next. Fucking actually I already went. Fuck, I'm so out of it now. It's late, dude. I just got out of training a while ago.
Come on, baby, let's wrap it up.
Yeah. Main event time. That's what I meant. Max Holloway against Jose Aldo. All right. This is the second. This is a rematch. First time around, I picked Holloway the first fight. That first round went to Aldo, if I remember correctly. And he might have touched Max a little bit. So I was a little concerned until at the end of the round, Max Holloway gives him a thumbs up. And I was like, oh, Max is okay. All right. So I don't see it's going any differently. I think Max Holloway finishes Jose Aldo again and cements himself as the champion. Keith, who are you picking?
Yeah, I'm taking Holloway too. I had Aldo up 2-0.
Yeah.
But I don't think Aldo will be able to handle Holloway's pressure. He throws so much more than Aldo. Aldo's always been this fantastic counter striker who lands his left hook and falls with his right leg kick that he just kept doing to Uriah Faber. The problem is if you look at his stats, he just has given up on the leg kicks. And I know his coach Pedinaris, he's been saying that he is injured. That's why he didn't throw leg kicks. He hasn't thrown leg kicks in a very long time. In the WEC, he landed 5.5 leg kicks in a round, and since he's come to UFC, he lands under 1.5 in a round. He just doesn't do it anymore. And the one time he did throw a leg kick at Holloway, it was actually Holloway's best shot in the first round. The thing that's scary about Holloway, he's only 25 years old. Like we might not even seen the best Max Holloway's yet. I mean, he hasn't even come into his power yet. Your power is usually around 28, 29, 30. So, I mean, his footwork is fantastic. He uses long range. The way he finished off Aldo, if you remember how he knocked him, he threw a 1-2 and then delayed and then threw another 1-2, kind of like got Aldo to block it. And then when Aldo was going to fire back, he timed it to land 2 more. Like he kind of like delayed it. And he's so smart and he's so good. I would like to see Aldo win just because, something about me that to see a legend lose. I mean, it was hard to see him lose, get knocked out by Conor McGregor in 13 seconds. And, you have all these casual fans making fun of Aldo. It's hard to see a legend like that. Yeah. I don't see it happening. What has changed? What has Aldo gotten better since, 6 months ago? Nothing. All he's done is gotten older, and Holloway's gotten closer to his prime. But yeah, I like Holloway. I like him big. I think it's going to be similar. I think he's going to finish him pretty late. I think he's going to just overwhelm him with the just his number of strikes, and I think he's going to take him out pretty late, like 4th or 5th round.
Yeah, and on your point on Jose Aldo not getting any better in the last few months, it's not like he's. I mean, as far as we know, it's not like he's like brought in a different coach or gone to a different camp to try something else. You know what I mean? Just and I just like Holloway's rangy, fucking just tough style that he has. I'm a big fan of that. Jesse, who are you picking?
I agree with Keith. I would love to see Aldo come back and really show everybody, all these newbie fans that haven't seen the dominant Jose Aldo that we remember from WEC. But sadly, I think that guy is long gone, man. I think that guy is old, beaten up, and he's stuck in his ways. Like you were just mentioning, Eddie, he hasn't, changed camps. He hasn't mixed anything up. All the most recent champions, except for I think Conor and Stipe, they go and try to get training wherever they can. They try to change things up. They're trying to learn as much as they can, like just sponge it all up, because they understand that this game that is MMA evolves so quickly, and if you're not on the cutting edge of something new, of something that's just innovative, you're stuck, and people figure you out, and then you're done for. And I think that's what we have here. And I honestly think that Holloway has Aldo's number, and I think he's going to finish him off faster this time. I think he knows how fast he can get hit. He knows how strong he can get hit. And I think he understands that Aldo just doesn't have what it is to beat Holloway. And I think Holloway is just going to steamroll him over. I think first round TKO this time around.
Damn, first round TKO. All right, I'm down with that too. Fred.
All right, listen, boys, I got to go here soon. My kids are fucking acting up, and I got to get them to bed. They got choir in the morning. But this is simple and easy for me, man. Listen, these cocksuckers just fought like 6 months ago, right? Mm-hmm. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. How could Jose Aldo land a big shot and finish Max Holloway in the first round? Sure. Could do that to anybody on planet Earth. So if that happens, I don't want to look like an asshole. But other than that, I see this fight going pretty much the exact same way it did the first go round. Jose Aldo is going to land his shots, but Max Holloway is super tough. To the best of my knowledge, Max has never been finished, right?
I don't think so, no.
Not in his whole career. No. So he kind of seems like one of those dudes that's going to be incredibly hard to finish. I just don't see it happening. Jose's probably not going to finish him. As the fight goes on, Jose's going to get tired, and Max is going to get stronger, just like the first fight. It's not been a long enough time. Fighters can get better, but it takes years for that shit, man. This shit isn't, you don't learn it overnight. They fought 6 months ago. And plus, Jose's fucking old. What the fuck could he have possibly added to his arsenal in the last 6 months that's going to really dramatically change this fight? Plus, Max is fucking 25.
Old? Aldo's like 31 or 32, guys.
Okay, but you know what I mean. Old for fighting years. He's been in a lot of wars. His fighting, he's like 47 in fighting.
Holloway was stopped. He was stopped by submission by Poirier, but he was 19. Yeah. He was 19 years old.
He's a child.
He was like just graduated high school.
Yeah.
I just think what Fred's trying to say is he's been Jose Aldo around for so long. I mean, take recent history. And obviously he got knocked out unconscious by McGregor. Obviously was rocked, hurt bad by Holloway. A lot of people forget that Frankie Edgar fight, the second fight, how everyone always writes it off like Aldo dominated that fight. Frankie Edgar landed 79 significant strikes, the highest significant strikes Frankie Edgar ever landed on anybody in every one of his fights ever was against Jose Aldo. Obviously the unbelievable war he had with Chad Mendes. He was hit many times by big shots by Big Puncher and Chad Mendes. So I mean, all those add up. So yeah, I agree with everything that Fred said.
I get what Fred's saying, but I mean, we have to remember this guy is barely getting into his quote unquote prime. I mean, he's 31, 32. There's still an opportunity for Jose Aldo to be the guy that used to be back in WEC. But, I agree with Fred and you guys. He's just so long in the tooth. He's been around this game for so long, been fighting for so long. What else does he have to give to us anymore?
Listen, everybody's 31 is not the same, Jack. No. He might be 31. I'm 33. But goddamn it, I bet you his body's more fucked up than mine from all the beatings he's taken. I ain't been in a fight since 7th grade, Jack. I'm a little pudgy, but all things considered, I'm probably in good shape.
There you go. So those are the picks, ladies and gentlemen. Keith, you have something? You muted again, Doc.
Oh, sorry. If you look at the ages of fighters, it's so tough because you take a guy like Fedor. Fedor was pretty much his done. I mean, you figure most people think, Brett Rogers was the kind of downfall of his career. Fedor was like 33 when he fought Brett Rogers. Tito Ortiz was done like 33. So for every Randy Couture, Dan Henderson, Michael Bisping, these guys fighting late in their 30s and in their 40s, there's a whole list of guys that are. I mean, Shogun was done by like 28 or something like that. Done with a prime. Yeah,
that's a good point. All right. That's a preview of UFC 218, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you watch this weekend and send your picks over. Don't forget, you guys are all, anyone in the comment section that commented is in for the glove giveaway from Brenda's fight this Friday. Fred, you can follow Fred. Actually, all the Twitters are down here, so you can follow Fred at Kirby_MMA. I'm at Eli31. Jesse Sport 1983. Keith, your Twitter again or Twitter handle, whatever you want to write.
Yeah, it's Keith Keith. My last name SHILLAN MMA. That's my Twitter. All right, or you go to our website, the MMA Takeover on Twitter.
There you go, the MMA Takeover. Fred, what you yelling, dude? You're muted.
Look at that shit, Keith. You're rubbing off on me. Jesus Christ! I was going to say promote your Facebook and shit because that's where you're at.
Yeah, I'm terrible, and so I got to be on there more. I mean, honestly, I'm always writing articles and stuff like that. I got to be, we know our weakness is just not being active enough on social media, but I'm really trying to pick it up on Twitter. So if you follow me, I'll try to not suck.
There you go. All right, and make sure you guys hit up repwarriors.com. Shout out to Represent for sponsoring us. And yeah, fucking that's gonna be it for us tonight. By the way, everyone in the YouTube comments was talking about dipping sauces. They're literally like talking about horseradish, ranch, ketchup, and so I threw out that Joey Diaz quote where he says, "It's blue cheese or go fuck your mother," and I was like. That's my favorite Joey Diaz quote ever. Like I nearly died when it happened. So anyway, shout out to Liam Raider and Uncle Hank's drinking buddy. Mike Jarvis is on here. UC was on here way early. John Smith, what up?
No. Just one last thing. Since Eddie's gonna be competing, Eddie doesn't know this, guys. But if you guys follow me on Twitter, I'll link it to on Twitter. I'll try to live stream Eddie's matches so you guys can share in his victory or his ass whooping. Either way.
Look, I'll throw it out there. I moved up to a division. These motherfuckers are big, so that's gonna be I'm the underdog, all right? So cheer me on, assholes. I'm the underdog. I'm the underdog. I'm Robert Whittaker in this shit, all right? I don't even know if that's true. Anyway, all right. Dan from Oregon, John Smith, everybody that tuned in. Appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you fucking hit subscribe and everything. Go to the iTunes, subscribe on there. For myself, the whole crew, everybody else, everybody have a good night. Enjoy yourselves, and good night, Wilshire.